Hello. Back to Max Lang, this time against Hermann Pollmacher from Leipzig, 1856. e4, Max Lang being white. Black plays e5, white goes knight f3, black responds with knight c6, defending his pawn, and we get d4 again, the Scotch. Black takes, and instead of recapturing, going to the proper Scotch, we get the Scotch Gambit. Bishop c4, black responds, bishop c5, defending the d4 twice. And here we go to the different line. Last game we think was c3. Now we go to the knight g5 line. Going for the soft belly of black's position immediately, f7. Well, black plays knight h6, covering the square. And white goes with the maybe a little dubious queen h5. Even today, relevant line is the knight takes f7, knight takes, bishop takes, king takes, and queen h5, forking the king and the bishop. Let's say g6, bishop, queen takes c5, and then d6, d5, I think are the main lines. There's a lot of very strong grandmaster games in this line. It's about equal. Double-edged. King is on the open. White queen on the rampage. But in the game we get queen h5. And here queen e7 might be more accurate. Hitting the pawn, defending the bishop. That could be attacked with the x-rays as we saw already. It doesn't make a big difference. Queen f6 that was played in the game, they are quite similar. White's best bet would have been to go into these complications with knight takes f7 probably. Or black has also the very double-edged bishop b4, c3 takes. Here best move is to take, but these are really hairy lines. White can sack the a1 rook. If black takes here, it's going to be mating something crazy like 17 or I don't know, but yeah, I think black needs to go back. Queen b2, at least keep on this diagonal, and then it would be equal. White gets the rook back with check. Well, there is also g6, but then stuff like this happens, and the knight's hanging here. This knight can escape if that moves away. It's a mess, but it's an equal mess. Instead of that, white played f4. In the game, black chose d6. But much better would have been to do it by much more force, sacrificing a pawn. The same idea. White takes here. The idea is to bring the bishop out here, hitting the white queen. Knight b4, hitting the bishop, the c2. White tries to cover it. Then we take. Queen e7. Oh no. Let's say king f1, queen e2, d3. Oof. And now you can just delay the inevitable a few times. Not good. d5 would have been nice. I think the best is like bishop f7. And now if knight takes the bishop, then we can take the bishop here. So queen takes, and white queen is also attacked. White can grab the rook in the corner, but then black comes here. White covers the c2 forks, and then black just castles and pick up the knight in the corner. Overwhelming advantage. Well, in a game, black had the idea, but didn't want to sacrifice a pawn for it, which of course gives white time, and white played h3, stops this. Black castled, and white did the same. Walking bravely into a discovery, which could have been played. Instead of that, black played bishop e6, and white played bishop d3. Now stopping this, and maybe we are again found a new square to try to break at. Well, here, for instance, if black does the knight b4, going for the bishop, then white already is much better with e5s, hitting the queen and opening this up here, queen e7. And now f5 is playable, maybe the best move. Bishop takes h7, king h8. Would be good for white. Black didn't want to deal with any of that, says let's trade the queens. Now I didn't really see any problems with that. Max Lang has still ideas. Queens off, no problems. H takes. Now this would be lead to about equal position. Black's a pawn up, but it's a double G. Let's say a3 to keep the bishop pair 2. Would be an about equal level chances for sure. Instead of that, Lang goes for the throat. Again, f5. No problems. Queens are off. We're gonna keep on attacking. Well, black takes, white takes, g takes, b takes f, and bishop d5. This is all fine. And Lang goes with f6. Keep on attacking, even though this side is completely undeveloped. Black's castled, everybody's out, but we keep on rolling. Black should have been careful. And again, going for the bishop. Knight b4, knight e5. Well, it would have been better moves. He took here, and here Max Lang had a killer move. Knight h7, hitting the rook, hitting the f6 with forks, and also hitting the knight here. And for instance, king g7, we don't even grab the exchange, but we can take here, go for a full piece, and if the full piece says no, we can insist and check the black king. This covers here, knight covers these squares, king has to leave the pawn knight alone, and we say thank you. Well, maybe luckily we got rook takes f6 instead, and black attacked the rook, missing Lang's nice blow. Rook takes h6, bang. Well, black has to take it back. White plays knight e6, discovered check, covering g7, bishop covers these squares, forcing king towards the white side of the board. And I think Lang plays the end of the game almost perfectly. Instead of going for an exchange, no good, we give a check. King goes to h4. Probably could have lived more or longer on h6. But yeah, this is of course a fork. Better than taking an exchange here. Knight takes d5, we pick up the bishop. Black plays f5. Maybe making some room for the king here. Alright, bishop comes out, blocks the pawn, which was probably not going forward anyways. But also it covers g3 square. And after knight d5, knight d2, we get c6. White plays g3, hitting the king. Now the king should have run away. Try to run and live there somewhere. White still has 2 pieces for a rook. He's completely winning. But black took a pawn there for his troubles. Well, now it's mate in 7. Practically mate in 5. While black has few futile moves to throw in. Those don't really matter. Lang plays perfectly. Bishop check. King g4. King g2. Opening up the back rank for the rook to join the attack. King tries to run. For instance, if we grab the knight now, there's mate. So king tries to run. But white can now use the knight and say no. Bishop says no too. Well, here the futile moves would have been to draw in d3 to cover the check. We'll just take it and then this went here. Then the bishop could have blocked the rook for a move. Needless moves. Knight played g4. White just played bishop e2. Winning the knight. King is completely stuck. And this is going to come here, mate in 1, no matter what black does. He played rook e8, and white played rook h1 mate. Very funky game. Anyways, until next time.